This is the 30-minute short form Ashtanga practice. Take everything in your own pace, leave poses out, and be very happy to stay with the easier version of poses as we go through. Allow your breath to be easy. Try not to stress yourself, and take care of any aches or pains or anything that needs a little more attention. Okay, so we begin at the top of the mat, finding yourself in Tadasana, in your mountain pose. Crown of the head growing tall, fingers reaching towards the ankles. Spread the toes nice and wide and then release them on the floor so you have a nice broad base of support. Slightly dropping the sit bones and the tailbone so that the low back is nice and long without being overly tucked. Taking 2 nice easy breaths here. And when you're ready, reaching the arms up overhead, palms touch. Bend the knees, belly to the thighs. Fingertips on the floor, halfway lift. Hands to the floor, stepping back to the top of a push-up. And for this first one, we'll stay here in the top of the push-up, lifting the space between the shoulders and hips about level, inner thighs lift. Take a moment and very gently and easily take your gaze forward just a little. And then look back towards the belly. Feel the belly lift away from the floor. And bring yourself to downward facing dog. If the backs of the legs feel tight or you feel strain in the back, feel absolutely happy to bend the knees as much as you need to. Allow the weight to move back, the back of the neck is long. Finding easy breath. 4 and 5. Taking your gaze forward and walk your feet forward between your hands. Fingertips on the floor or hands on the shins, halfway lift. Bending the knees, belly to thigh, fingers to the floor, look back between the shins. And then bend the knees, press through the feet, lifting yourself all the way back up, arms reach, palms touch, and hands to the side. That's 1. And again, arms reach, allow your breath to be natural, and fold. Halfway lift, back to the top of your push-up. Your choice, stay at the top of the push-up or drop to your knees. Allow your weight to move forward all the way to the floor. Point the toes away, elbows squeeze towards each other, lengthen the front of the body as you look forward. Looking down to the floor, shoulders roll forward, curl the toes under, come back up to all fours and to downward facing dog. Establishing your dog again, pressing the pads of the fingers down, armpits squeezing towards each other, heels on or off the floor depending on yourself. For a full count of 5, so that's probably 4 and 5. Bend the knees, look forward and walk your feet forward. Halfway lift and forward fold. Strong legs, bring yourself all the way to standing, arms reach and hands by your side. Last one, arms reach, forward fold, taking care of the back. Halfway lift, stepping back to the top of your push-up. Your choice, stay at the top of a push-up, drop to the knees, or take a full push-up all the way to the floor. Point the toes away, elbows squeeze towards each other, pubic bone towards the floor, taking the gaze forward. Coming back through push-up or all fours to your downward facing dog. Pausing in the down dog for a count of 5, allowing your breath to be easy. Establishing the pose from the ground up. And that's 5. Bend the knees, look forward and walk the feet forward. Halfway lift. And notice the breath that takes you into your forward fold. Strong legs come all the way to standing, arms reach. And pause. Moving into Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salute B. Beginning with your chair pose, Utkatasana. Long through the tailbone, try not to overarch the back. And forward fold. Halfway lift. Stepping back to the top of your push-up. On or off your knees, Chaturanga Dandasana all the way to the floor. Taking Cobra, or if you choose, taking the front of the body long, press through the hands and feet, lifting into your full upward facing dog. Coming back to the top of a push-up and to downward facing dog. Step your right foot up by the right thumb. Stretch the mat between the feet, lift the upper body, arms reach, coming into the lunge. Palms to the floor, top of your push-up. Again, choose your own way to come to the floor. Taking Cobra or Up Dog. Coming back through the push-up to downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward. Stretch the mat, arms reach. Try not to hold your breath as you come back to the top of your push-up and all the way to the floor in your own way. Through Cobra or upward facing dog. Coming back through your push-up to downward facing dog. And again, a count of 5. Outer edges of the feet are parallel and almost feel like the heels are trying to squeeze towards each other. Same thing with the hands, fingers are spread wide, heels of the hands are squeezing towards each other. That's 4 and 5. Bend the knees, look forward and bring your feet forward between your hands. Halfway lift. And forward fold. Coming up through your chair pose, Utkatasana. Push the floor away from you, come to standing. Once more, Surya Namaskar B. Utkatasana. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Top of your push-up. Your version of Chaturanga all the way to the floor. Taking Cobra or upward facing dog. Coming back through your push-up to downward facing dog. Establishing the dog for a count of 5. Make sure the back of the neck is long. Allow your attention to be on your breath. That's 4 and 5. Taking the gaze forward, bringing your feet forward between your hands, halfway lift and fold. Coming up through your chair pose, strong legs all the way to standing. Taking a breath in and letting it go. Taking your feet about 6 inches apart, hands to the hips as we move into our standing forward fold. Lengthening the crown of the head up, folding forward from the hips. Bringing your hands to your shins or your ankles, or maybe even holding the big toes. Halfway lift, lift the space between the shoulder blades, and then forward fold, looking back between the shins. Of course, bend your knees if this is in any way stressful for your back. Allow the back of the neck to be long. Keep belly and thigh connected. Allow the breath to be easy. This is Padangusthasana. And that's 5. Straighten the elbows, gently looking forward. Bend the knees, come all the way to standing, arms reach. Release your hands by your side. Moving into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Stepping your right foot back, feet are parallel. Turn the right toes to the right, drop the left heel back, reach the arms wide. Back hip is moving towards, left hip is moving towards the right. Release the right hand to the thigh or the shin or maybe even the big toe. Left arm is reaching towards the ceiling if that's okay for you, or you can keep your left hand on your belly or on your hip. Again, we're counting to 5. Feeling the crown of the head reaching forward, the right hip thigh rolling out, left thigh rolling in. Broadening the space between the shoulder blades. Take your gaze towards that right foot. Stretch the mat between the feet. The left arm reaches all the way up to standing. Feet come to parallel. And we pivot to the other side. Left toes pivot out. Right heel drops back. Left arm to the thigh, the shin, the ankle or the big toe. Right arm to the belly, the hip, or reaching towards the ceiling. Right thigh rolling in, left thigh rolling out. Stretching the mat between the feet, lengthening the fingers up towards the ceiling. That's 3, 4, and 5. Looking towards the left foot, engage the feet, stretching the mat and reach all the way back up. Feet come parallel and step to the front of your mat. Moving into extended side angle, stepping the feet wide once again. Right toes turn to the right, left heel drops back. Bend the right knee, knee stacked over the ankle. Right arm comes to rest on the right thigh. Left arm sweeps down and forward, opening the chest, creating a diagonal line from the fingers to the outer edge of the left foot. If this is super comfortable, you can release the right fingertips to the floor on the inside of that right foot, pressing the arm and the knee against each other, opening the chest a little more towards the ceiling. Left baby finger is moving towards the floor. Crown of the head reaching forward, stretching the mat between the feet. That's 4. And 5. Looking towards the floor, stretch the mat between the feet, come all the way back up, feet come parallel, and moving to the other side. Left toes turn out, right heel drops back, bend the left knee, left arm to left thigh, right hand sweeps down and forward, opening. Stay here, or release those left fingers to the floor, arm and knee press against each other, chest opening. That's 3, 4, and 5. Looking to the floor, stretch the mat between the feet, come all the way up. Release the hands by the side, feet come parallel, and step to the top of your mat. Moving then into our balance pose, Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So with your hands on your hips, lift that right knee and hold on with both hands. Stay here. If you're comfortable in your balance, you can hold on to the right foot or the right big toe, left hand to left hip, and stay here. Or extend that right leg straight, shoulders draw down the spine, and stay in your chosen pose for a full count of 5. That's 4 and 5. Release that foot, bend the knee, release release both feet to the floor. Other side, lifting the left knee. Again, your choices. Hold on with both hands. Hold the shin with one hand, halfway extend, or take the big toe and maybe straighten the leg. Holding for a total of 5, wherever you've chosen to be. 4 and 5. Bend the knee and lift. Release both feet to the floor. Release your hands by your side, finding Tadasana. Moving towards Warrior One, we'll take a vinyasa. Bend the knees. Take your chair pose. Notice your breath as you fold forward. Halfway lift, fingers on the floor or hands to the shins. Stepping back to the top of your push-up. On or off your knees, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lifting into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. And moving through your push-up to Downward Facing Dog. Stepping the right foot forward by the right thumb, pivot the left heel to the floor. Stretch the mat between the feet, reach the arms forward and up, coming into your Warrior One. Back thigh is rolling in, front thigh rolling out, stretching the mat between the feet. Think of the sit bones pressing towards the floor so that your low back doesn't overarch. That's 3, 4, and 5. From Warrior One, bring your palms to touch, straighten both legs. Bring your feet to parallel and pivot towards the left. So the left toes are pointing left, the right heel is dropping back. Bend the left knee, knee is over the ankle. Right thigh is rolling in, left thigh is rolling out, arms reach, tailbone stays long. 3, 4, and 5. Transition to Warrior Two. So the right arm reaches back, left arm reaches forward, shoulders drop away from the ears. Gaze is over your left middle finger. 3, 4, and 5. Straighten the left leg, pivot to the other side, and bend the right knee. Right heel squeezing towards the midline of the mat, left heel stretching the mat away from you. 3, 4, 5. Bring both hands to the floor, come onto the ball of the back foot, step back to the top of your push-up. By all means, go directly to down dog, or take your version of Chaturanga all the way to the floor, opening the heart into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog, coming back through your version of the push-up to Downward Facing Dog. And then stepping your feet forward, coming to seated, moving into Dandasana. Legs are straight, find your sit bones. Feel free to use a blanket or a prop to lift your hips. Hands to the floor, shoulders away from the ears, crown of the head reaches tall, heels pull back, ball of the foot pushes away, baby toe side of the foot pulls towards you. Tuck your chin towards your throat so the back of the neck is long. And take 3 more breaths here. 2, and 1. Bending the knees, moving into the forward fold, reaching the arms forward, belly to the thighs. So holding on to the shin or the ankle or the foot, big toe if that's available to you. Wherever you are, take your gaze forward, shoulders away from the ears, and then fold forward, bring your belly to your thigh. Imagine that your chest is moving towards your feet. Back of the neck is long, so your gaze is straight down. And holding again for a count of 5. That's 4. And 5. Pull the heels towards you, straighten the elbows, lift the space between the shoulder blades, take the gaze forward. Look back towards the belly and release. Moving into Purvottanasana. Hands come about 6 inches back. You can keep your legs straight or bend your knees. Shoulders roll forward. Hips move towards the heels and lift the hips away from the floor, looking towards the ceiling, pushing the floor away from you. That's 3, 4, and 5. Take the gaze forward, release your hips to the floor, and extend your left leg long, drawing the right knee in. Opening that right knee out to the side, sole of the right foot into the left thigh. Find your sit bones. Keep your hands behind you to stay very upright, that's fine. Maybe your hands come forward and that's fine. Maybe you want to go into the full pose so your hands can hold your shin, your ankle, or your foot. Thinking again of moving the belly over that extended leg. Think of the right hip pressing down into the floor. Holding for a count of 5. That's 3, 4, and 5. Pull that heel towards you, straighten the elbows, lift the space between the shoulder blades, look forward. Looking back towards the belly and release. Extend that right leg forward. Bring the left leg into position for Janu Shirshasana. 90 degrees between the legs, finding your best position. And holding that position for a count of 5. That's already 3, 4, and 5. Straightening the arms, lift the spine, take the gaze forward, looking back towards the belly and release. And now we come to our first vinyasa, so cross the ankles, draw the feet back, weight moves forward, lift the bum, step or jump back to the top of your push-up, and then on or off your knees, take your chaturanga to your up dog or cobra, to your downward facing dog, coming through the push-up, to your down dog. Once again, stepping the feet forward, moving into our twist, Marichyasana C. So bend the right knee, sole of the right foot to the floor. Left elbow wraps around the right shin, right fingers behind you, grow tall. And then twist to the right. Stay here. Or if you're feeling comfortable, you can take that left elbow to the outside of the right knee, press the knee and the elbow against each other, and maybe take your gaze behind you. Try not to collapse all the way back, so try to keep that sense of pushing the floor away from you. That's 4 and 5. Take your gaze forward and release. Other side. Hug that left knee in, so the left foot is strong on the floor. Right elbow wraps around. and spiral. Stay here. Or take that right elbow to the outside of the knee, knee and arm press against each other. Go a little bit deeper. And find your breath for 3, 4, and 5. Take your gaze forward and undo your twist. Another vinyasa, feet come back, weight onto the hands, lift the bum and step or jump back. Move through your version of chaturanga, and if you're getting tired, by all means leave out these vinyasas. Go straight to your down dog. Coming through your push-up to your downward facing dog. And coming through once again to seated. Moving now into Navasana, the boat pose. So bending the knees, hands behind the knees, rock back off the sit bones. Keep the low back lifting as you lift your feet and stay here. Or take your feet parallel to the floor and stay here. Or extend the arms parallel to the shins, shoulders away from the ears. Try to keep the low back lifting, the chest lifting. 4 and 5. Cross the right ankle over the left, feet to the floor, hands to the floor and lift. And once again, coming into your version of Navasana. If you like, you can straighten the legs, but you don't have to. Do think about keeping the chest lifting. 3, 4, and 5. Left ankle over right, feet to the floor, hands to the floor, lift the bum. And weight moves forward, step or jump back to the top of your push-up. Go directly to the dog, take your knees to the floor, and come all the way to the floor. Moving through cobra or upward facing dog. Coming back through your push-up to downward facing dog. And from your down dog, coming through once again to seated. And now coming to lying on your back. Knees are bent, palms on the floor beside you. So we have choices. If you like, you can now move into the arch and flatten. So you breathe in, press the tailbone and the shoulders towards the floor, arch the spine. And as you breathe out, allow the whole spine to flatten against the floor, really feeling those muscles release. And you can continue to do that for 3 or 4 more times. Or if you choose, you can breathe in to arch, then press the floor away from you and lift your hips, coming into a diagonal from shoulders to hips to knees. And then in your own time, release that all the way down to the floor. And you can repeat that. Or you can press hands and feet into the floor, lift the hips up. And then roll the shoulders in, interlace the fingers, press the upper arms into the floor, lift the hips a little higher. The gaze is straight up, thighs are parallel, feet feel like they're almost pushing away from you. Pause for maybe 2 more breaths, wherever you are. Then release the shoulders and release all the way down to the floor. Hug the knees in, one hand on each shin, and rock yourself a little bit from side to side. And then holding on to the backs of the knees, rock yourself forward and back. And come all the way upright, taking a little of that stretch out of the low back. So bend the knees, Hold on to the shins and release your belly onto your thighs. Release your elbows towards the floor. Breathe into the back of the body. Straightening the elbows, look forward. And then bring yourself once again to lying on your back. And we'll move into a very gentle shoulder stand. Only if you're very happy with this, if you have any issues with your neck, just take a moment here and rest or take your child's pose. So moving into shoulder stand, press into the floor, lift the hips, hands hold onto the hips. You can let your feet come over your head. And just allow the weight of the hips to be supported by the hands. If you're more comfortable, you can take your feet up towards the ceiling. As you grow more comfortable, your hands can go further up the back with more of the weight on the shoulders. Do not let the back of your neck touch the floor, so keep pressing down through the shoulders, through the elbows, and reaching the feet towards the ceiling. Staying here only as long as you are comfortable. Come out of it at any time. And then to come out, bend the knees. Release the hands to the floor and roll yourself back down. Extend the legs long, press the elbows into the floor, palms are on the floor. Lift the chest away from the floor and look back behind you. This is fish pose. You can allow some of the weight on the head, opening the front of the throat. And then to come out, pressure on the elbows, bring the back of the head to the floor, bend the knees, and hug the knees into the chest. And take a little twist, opening the arms wide. Drop both knees towards the right, allowing your gaze move towards the left. And then coming back to center, moving to the other side, knees move left, gaze moves to the right. Trying to keep the right shoulder blade as close to the floor as you can. Bring yourself back to center. Hold on to the backs of the knees and rock yourself up to seated once again. Moving through our last vinyasa, bring feet back, hands to the floor, lift the bum and step back. Moving slowly and carefully to the floor, through your cobra or upward facing dog, and back to your downward facing dog. Coming through to seated, finding a cross-legged position. Holding on to the elbows behind the back, drop the shoulders away from the ears, and allow yourself to fold forward. Taking 3 more breaths here. 1. 2. 3. Bring yourself back upright. Release the hands. Right hand moves back, left hand to the right knee. Small breath in. And twist a little bit deeper to the right. Taking your gaze forward. Release and twist to the left. Small breath in. And maybe you twist a little bit deeper. Taking the gaze forward and release. Hands to either side of the hips, roll the shoulders forward, press down and lift, or imagine yourself lifting. Take the gaze forward, look Back towards the belly, lift a little bit higher. And release. Extend your legs forward. Bring yourself to lying flat on the ground. Let the arms and the legs relax. Feet open away from each other. Close the eyes, and as you go through your body, releasing any tension that may still have built up during the practice. Resting here in your Shavasana for as long as is available to you. When you're ready, bending the knees one at a time, rolling over to one side or the other, and bringing yourself back up to seated. Finding the sit bones, making yourself as comfortable as you can. Close your eyes. Taking 3 breaths where all of your attention is on that feeling of breath. And then bring your palms to touch your thumbs to your heart. Bowing to yourself with respect and gratitude. Namaste.